what you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed.
To another Sensukita Reacts. I'm Sensukita, and we're here today to react to another Assassination Classroom. This time it's episode 6. Alright, let's hit it, guys. As always, we're going to jump into this video. We're going to see how this story progresses, and we're going to make a hypothesis on how we could kill him after the video. Now, based on the information last time, I decided I did not want to make a hypothesis on how to kill him because I did not get any information about how to kill him. Instead, it was more like it was information on the kids and how they're treated, which was terrible. Still trying to calm down from that. Sorry. But now we're going to jump into episode 6 without any further ado. Just make sure that you press that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so when I drop a video, you hear about it first. Now, let's jump into this right now. Let's go.
Let's begin, shall we? Begin what exactly? Studying for midterms, of course. Whoa, look out! I'll be making this period a high-speed enhanced midterm study hall! My doubles will provide special one-on-one attention, drilling everyone individually on areas where you can improve most.
Man, this is balls. You seriously gotta wear a different headband for each subject. Give me a break, man. Naruto's not even on the test.
Look at him go.
Naruto!
Is he getting faster? I mean, 6 doubles for Japanese, 8 doubles for math, 3
Even
for
this
social
show,
studies, 4 for science.
it goes to show you how much those old animes have
Koro
had an
Sensei
impact
for
on the
each of
world
us.
around us.
And
There's
not
such a
that
part
long
of our
ago,
world
he
that
was doing
everything
well to
references
split himself up into 4 or
them.
5.
I saw a movie the other day that referenced Naruto.
No sneak attacks
That's how much of an impact it has on this
Try
world.
not to disrupt my concentration.
Can you imagine what I'm an author myself, so can you imagine what would happen when you write a book and then it becomes something as big as
No
this?
worries there. I have a double outside
proud they
on
must be.
R&R duty.
How does that help?
Wow,
Leveling
dude has
up like
R&R.
crazy these days. I wonder, is he just prepping to destroy the Earth or what?
Yeah.
Any way you slice it, if you're an assassin, he's a tricky target.
Hey, are you starting to wrap your head around the material, Nagi-san?
Yes, sir. And if you're facing midterms, he's the best damn teacher you could ask for.
Yeah. Alright. I'll skip to the intro because no one needs to see it. And I'll probably get copyrighted anyway. Alright.
Consider this deceptively simple cube.
Damn.
If I wish to align the colors quickly and intuitively, what might be the best way to go about it?
Bye, Nagi-san.
Any
Better luck
ideas?
killing me tomorrow.
The answer? Pry them apart and reassemble.
I'm gonna
It's
beat
as
this
easy
guy.
as that.
I could already tell I hate this guy.
Why, Koro-sensei? It's an honor.
Apparently this gentleman is supposed to be the principal here.
Believe me, he is, which also makes him our boss.
Yeah! So good of you to come all this way, sir! Any chance we can discuss a teensy little hike in salary? If I'm not being too forward, of course. I've added a few extra versions of myself to help with the workload.
Forgive me for not visiting sooner. I meant to pay my respects before now, but one gets sidetracked. Mr. Karasuma and the Ministry of Defense have painted quite the vivid picture of you. Yes, vivid indeed, though I don't pretend to understand the situation in every particular. Nor do I feel especially qualified to comment. However, I will say this if I may be so bold. You seem to be torn between embracing the role of savior or villain.
Savior? Villain?
But no matter.
That's interesting.
Such things aren't for men like myself to resolve. I'm hardly in a position to save the world. That job I must leave to hands more capable. So, barring harm to my school, your assassins may deal with you as they will. I've been given plenty of incentive to turn a blind eye.
Thank you for your cooperation.
That's a very reasonable attitude, Principal. I find that quite attractive in a man.
You flatter me, madam. That said, though I'm happy to give you carte blanche to do what's necessary, I must think of the future should the Earth survive. In other words, what becomes of my school if Koro-sensei is assassinated? Not to put too fine a point on it, but E-Class must continue to serve its function in the grand scheme of things.
Interesting. So rock bottom grades and students with zero prospects serve a function, do they?
Oh, yes. Are you familiar with the so-called worker ant theory? It tells us that in any group, 20% will work hard, 20% will be
I
idle,
can tell I'm gonna get
and
pissed
the
in this
remaining
episode.
60%
Y'all just
will fall
wait.
somewhere in between. Now, imagine a group without a middle ground, where hard workers comprise 95% of the population and layabouts only 5. If the lazy worker ants are stigmatized, the ratio is perfectly feasible. Those who under normal circumstances fall into the average category better themselves to avoid being associated with the ostracized class.
Very logical. And of course, unless the 5% is kept down, the incentive for the other 95 disappears.
Just today, I received an alarming complaint from a D-class teacher. It seems a student of yours glared threateningly at 2 upperclassmen, such that the upperclassmen feared for their lives. I have no doubt the confidence to do so stems from their attempts to assassinate you, and perhaps that's to be expected. The issue, though, is that an E-class student dared to defy his better. Obviously, I cannot let such insolence stand. As teachers, you are expected to remind the student in question of his place. Oh, and Koro-sensei, you have 1 second to solve this puzzle.
What? You just sprayed this on me out of the blue? Whoa!
What the hell is going on?
Your speed certainly lives up to the hype. I can see why most attempts on your life would be an exercise in futility. But bear in mind, my friend, in the grand scheme of things, there are many problems for which speed is of no use at all. Now, if you'll kindly excuse me. Oh.
Oh, sorry.
Best of luck, the guy says.
No.
And just like that, I revert from assassin back to an E-class nobody.
No.
As a target, Koro-sensei is practically invincible. Amateur and professional assassins alike have their work cut out trying to off him. But as a teacher, he's vulnerable to the whims of people higher up on the food chain. People like Kunugigaoka Academy Principal Gakuo Asano. A shrewd man who in the first decade of his tenure single-handedly hoisted this school to top-tier status. Essentially, if you teach here, there's no getting around his personal vision of order. That goes for us and for you.
No.
Good morning, everyone! As you might guess, today I thought I'd make even more of me!
This is getting ridiculous.
Taking caps
Ew.
on, let's begin!
Even the after images are getting sloppy.
It's like he's turning into a pair of himself.
Hey, Koro-sensei? No offense, but isn't this gonna wear you out?
Wear me out? Pshaw!
E-class must continue to serve its function in the grand scheme of things.
No.
Look at the poor guy. He's totally down for the count.
I say we try our luck.
Not that I don't appreciate it, but why is he teaching us so hard anyways? To get those test scores up. Why else? If I do that... Koro-sensei!
We owe it all to you, Koro-sensei. Thank you. I'll never try to kill you again.
Oh, sir! Please, I need help with my grades, too!
I'll never have to worry about you trying to kill me again. It'll be sheer bliss.
I mean, the whole helping a study thing is nice and all.
But the reward
That's
money we get for
stupid.
assassinating him is nothing to sneeze at. Let's face it, who needs to ace a midterm when you've got that kind of cash tucked away in your bank account?
Money isn't everything, people! Oh, come on. You gotta cut us some slack here. We're the in class.
Yeah, assassination we can strive for, but academics? Seriously, why bother?
I see. So that's how it is then.
How what is, sir?
Do you know what I think? I don't think you appreciate what it means to be an assassin. Everyone, schoolyard, now!
Oh? What's going on now?
What's his deal, making us all stand out here like a bunch of goobers?
I don't know. Maybe something we said put him in a mood.
All right, children. Love or hate the E-Class system, as a remedial process, it can work. Imagine placing within the top 50 of 186 students on midterms. Make that a reality, and securing a former teacher's permission is all an E-Class student needs to return to the class from which they were ejected. But given the conditions we're forced to work under, the personal setbacks that landed each of you here are difficult to fix. That's why most E-Class students are convinced that returning to the main campus is no more than a pipe dream.
Don't tell me to hurry up. I'm not a child.
Sorry. Koro-sensei asked me to bring you.
Miss Yelovich, I'd like your opinion as a professional assassin.
All right, what do you want to know?
Now let's say you've been given an assignment. Do you have only one plan going into it?
Of course not. If my profession has taught me anything, it's that plan A almost never comes off like you'd expect. There are just too many variables. A good assassin has backup plans on hand for any contingencies.
And Mr. Kurasuma,
Fair,
what about
okay.
you? When teaching knife combat strategies, do you believe the first strike is the only move of any importance?
The first move is important, but so's the follow-up. Never assume the first strike will hit, because when your opponent's trained, you have to be ready to deliver the next strike with at least as much precision and skill as the first. Or better yet, carry a second blade.
If you have a point, sir, I think we're missing it. Listen to your teachers, boys and girls. Backup plans are the cornerstone of confidence, and a confident assassin is a successful one. The same goes for life in general. You strive for assassination, but not academics? You've heard the old saying, right? Don't put all of your eggs in one basket. Well, that's exactly what you're doing here! Suppose I left the classroom for good. Suppose some other would-be assassin out there managed to do me in. What would you be left with? What would you strive for then? Or are you satisfied with being outcast? A word of advice from your Koro-sensei. You walk a fine line. Those who can't wield a second blade aren't qualified to be assassins.
Woo! Go, girl.
What the? Holy crap, guys, check it out. Is that a tornado?
What a show-off.
Damn.
There. Our schoolyard needed a good... Not to mention a few weeds cleared. I am a superior life form capable of destroying the Earth. As you can see, flattening out this little corner of it was a cinch. Cast your nets wide. Show me your backup plan, that crucial second blade. Otherwise, I'll be forced to conclude no would-be assassin here is worthy of me. And I won't have just a mind to leave. I'll flatten this entire campus as I go.
A second blade? So how long have we got?
Not very. Until the end of tomorrow. The midterms are upon us, class. I want all of you to place in the top 50. Whether you realize it or not, we've been sharpening those second blades all along. The main campus relies on dull rote learning methods. I, to put it mildly, do not. You have what it takes, so wield those blades with confidence. Take your midterms by the gills, smiling, your heads held high. Be proud, be bold, and never forget, you are assassins. You are E-Class.
Okay. Ready or not, here we go.
Fuck you is basically what he just said. They're at the main campus?
Midterms are administered on the main campus, even for us. Basically, to E-Class, they're just an away game. Not much else.
What? Is that what they see this as?
Our knife isn't nearly enough to take this thing out! How are we supposed to tackle question 4?
Wow.
I expected this. The midterms they give in this school have always been a beast. Damn it! You're kidding me! I don't even know where to start! This question's gonna eat me alive! I'm dead meat!
Did you really mean that crap? You're gonna take off if they don't all place in the top 50 on their stupid midterms?
That's right.
Well, way to be unrealistic. These kids have the worst grade point average in the entire school. Are you nuts?
I wonder sometimes. Either way, wherever they've ranked before, they're my students now. When backed into a corner, the first order of business is assessing your options. If I've taught them nothing else, I've certainly taught them that. Come now, we've covered this. The poor beast isn't as terrifying as all that.
Yeah.
Start by observing that fin. On closer inspection, it's just that, a fin. Next, look over each part of the question with the same attention to detail and piece together what you find. Voila! A trivial adversary indeed. Now use that trusty blade to
I like
find
this imagery. This is pretty good imagery.
Of course. Take the problem one part at a time. That's the trick. Just like Koro-sensei's been teaching us all along.
All right. Okay, honey.
This question is dead meat.
Yeah.
And this one. And this.
What's going on? Is this like a special question that I'm meant to pass?
And all of a sudden, poised to strike, a question we weren't ready for ambushed us from the rear.
Not to rock the boat, but this is ridiculous. You gotta help me out here. However I look at it, this test seems rigged.
I don't know what to say, sir. You ought to have received proper notification. Perhaps there was some sort of communications flap on your end. But there's no point in coming to the main campus. I can tell you that.
The communications flap wasn't on our end, buddy. Besides, what constitutes proper notification? 2 days before midterms, you decide to broaden the scope, and that's supposed to be enough time for us to cover everything?
With all due respect, Mr. Karasuma, is it? You don't understand. We're a prep school.
This sort of thing happens all the time. Our students are expected to cram. That's been our policy for years. In fact, when it was decided to include new material on this midterm, the principal himself lectured our students on those subjects personally. It was wonderful. You should have seen it.
Unbelievable. Is there nothing this man won't resort to in the name of his own ideals? They've put us in a hell of a spot. If Koro-sensei leaves, we're screwed. We lose everything.
No.
I take full responsibility. Clearly, I underestimated the school's dedication to the status quo. Forgive me if I can't bear to face you.
Have it your way. Keep your back turned if you want. Just makes it easier for us to sneak up on you.
I am in no mood, Karma. This whole situation has me very
So they added a few questions to the stupid test. Big deal. Seriously? Hold the phone. You got 100 in math? Your method worked like a charm, Teach. You gave us everything you had, and at the moment of truth, it mattered. So what if the midterms decided to cover new territory? I was ready.
Just a little more.
Don't worry, though. I'm not going anywhere. You see, this is...
His character's had a great turnaround. I like this.
So, where are you gonna go, huh? Where do you belong? You plan on using the fact we didn't all make the top 50 as an excuse to tuck your tail and run? 'Cause you're not fooling me. I think you're just scared that one of us is actually gonna kill you.
Good job.
You could have just told us. Not like we'd blame you for being afraid.
Next time, consider being more straightforward with how you feel.
Even if how you feel is all, oh no, I want to run away.
No one is running away!
Okay, so what's the deal?
The deal is we get our revenge on this school twofold during finals.
Children, this is no laughing matter!
There's no denying we hit a wall on our midterms. The same wall that's always closed us off from everyone else. But for once, I'm kind of glad to be behind it. Not just glad, proud. Proud to be an E-class.
Nobody puts E-class in the corner!
Yeah! Alright, that was a great episode, everyone. Okay. So, what I caught, and I don't know if anyone else caught this, but what I caught was that there are some puzzles not even Speed can solve. So, I just gotta figure out what one of those puzzles were as a means for killing him. How would you make it to where his speed is... It doesn't matter what kind of speed he has. If you put him in quicksand, he's just going to whirl around and dig his way out. You try to slow him down with like ropes or something, that won't work either. You couldn't even catch him in far enough time to... The only way speed doesn't matter is if if you use a gas-based substance to kill him. It's the only way I can see to kill him where speed doesn't matter. No, speed could matter because he could just create an air funnel or an air tunnel or a void, a space void of air. Okay. Gas won't work either. Void. Place void of air. No, that won't work. He was in space. He destroyed the moon. It won't work. Damn. Okay, so let's think. How do we make his speed not an issue? Could you put him to sleep? Render him unconscious? Or is his body just trained to act even unconsciously? I would think rendering him immobile would be the only way to get a sure strike. Especially with his amount of speed. Or you could just make speed not something that will matter. I don't know. I think the only way you could beat him is to make him immobile and then strike. Unconscious something. Render him unconscious and make it to... And you would have to use a method that would mean his speed is not an issue. Because when he can make an F5 tornado by spinning around in circles, you have an issue that goes far beyond just his tentacles. Eventually, thought his tentacles weakness, but when you could spin around at F5, it don't matter if you grab his tentacles or not. He'll just throw you. Damn. It's getting harder and harder each episode, but I'm going to say for now, rendering him unconscious. I don't have an exact method for how you would make his speed not an issue, but I would have to say it would have to be through... You have choices of gas, a sludge, a... Gravity. Gravity! Maybe you could use gravity against him. Anti-grav, or just plain... Because there is no... You can't make propulsion by yourself in space, not unless you have an energy source to do it. So, what if you could render him immobile through gravity? Like a tractor beam. Like a tractor beam. That could work. Alright, so if you could use something like that to render him immobile, you could stop him enough to kill him. That's my plan for this one. Alright, well, I'm going to let you all go, and I'll see y'all later. Remember, press that like button, hit subscribe, and we'll be back here again for episode 7 soon. Just make sure when this hits that you send it a lot of likes so I know you guys are paying attention. Alright, see you all later. And I was glad to share this video with you. Alright, peace.
What size shirt do you wear?